September 11th, 2001, a date that remains etched in the collective memory of the world. Referred to as September 11th, this day witnessed one of the most horrific terrorist attacks in modern history, forever altering the course of global politics, international relations, and the daily lives of millions. The events of that day did not just affect the United States, they sent shockwaves across the entire globe, reminding humanity of the fragility of peace and the devastating consequences of hatred and extremism. On the morning of September 11th, the world seemed to function as usual. People went to work, children attended school, and the rhythm of daily life unfolded across the globe. But within a few hours, everything changed. At 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11, which had been hijacked, crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. At first, many believed it to be a terrible accident, but just 17 minutes later, a second plane, United Airlines Flight 175, struck the South Tower, confirming that this was no accident, but a deliberate and coordinated act of terror. Within an hour, both towers, iconic symbols of America's economic power and global influence, collapsed, sending plumes of smoke and debris into the air and claiming the lives of thousands of innocent people. The horror didn't stop there. A third hijacked plane, American Airlines Flight 77, crashed into the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., the heart of the U.S. military. The attack left a gaping hole in one of the most secure buildings in the world and caused further chaos and panic across the nation. The fourth plane, United Airlines Flight 93, was also hijacked, but its passengers, upon realizing what was happening, displayed unimaginable courage. They fought back against the hijackers, and as a result, the plane crashed into a field in Pennsylvania, preventing further destruction. The intended target of Flight 93 remains unclear, but many believe it was headed for either the U.S. Capitol or the White House, which could have led to even greater tragedy. In total, nearly 3,000 people lost their lives that day. Men, women, and children from over 90 countries. Among the victims were passengers on the hijacked flights, workers in the Twin Towers and the Pentagon, first responders, and ordinary citizens. The physical destruction was monumental, but the emotional and psychological toll was even greater. Millions watched in horror as the events unfolded live on television, and the world united in grief and disbelief. It was a day of unprecedented loss, but also a day that highlighted the depths of human compassion, bravery, and resilience. In the aftermath of September 11th, the world entered a new era defined by the War on Terror. The United States, in response to the attacks, launched military operations in Afghanistan to dismantle the Al-Qaeda terrorist network, which had claimed responsibility for the attacks, and to overthrow the Taliban regime that had provided them safe harbor. This marked the beginning of a long and complex conflict that would span decades, costing countless more lives and reshaping global geopolitics. Domestically, the U.S. government implemented sweeping changes to national security. The creation of the Department of Homeland Security, the passing of the Patriot Act, and the establishment of new counterterrorism measures fundamentally changed how the country approached security and civil liberties. Airports around the world tightened security, surveillance increased, and the concept of safety took on a new meaning for millions. But beyond the political and military responses, the personal stories of heroism and sacrifice from that day serve as a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. First responders in New York, firefighters, police officers, and paramedics rushed into the burning towers to save lives, many of them losing their own in the process. Civilians, too, displayed acts of extraordinary bravery, helping strangers escape the buildings, comforting those in shock, and coming together in the face of unimaginable horror. The passengers on Flight 93, who fought back against their hijackers, embodied this spirit of defiance and courage in the face of terror. As the years have passed, the world continues to remember September 11th. Memorials have been erected, such as the National September 11th Memorial and Museum in New York, to honor the lives lost and ensure that future generations never forget the lessons of that day. Every year, on the anniversary of the attacks, moments of silence are observed, names of victims are read aloud, and people reflect on the impact of 9/11 on their own lives and on the world at large. The legacy of September 11th is complex. It is a reminder of the potential for devastation that hatred and extremism can bring, but it also stands as a testament to human resilience, the capacity for compassion, and the enduring belief that even in the darkest times, we can find light through unity and hope. The world may never fully heal from the wounds of September 11th, but the way in which individuals, communities, and nations came together in the aftermath is a powerful reminder that we are stronger together, and that even in the face of terror, the human spirit endures. This version gives a comprehensive overview of the event's significance, including both historical context and emotional reflection. Feel free to adjust any part.